You better see things you've never seen before. This was one of my favorite toys growing up. It speaks for itself. Man, just check this out. It needs some grease. It's been a while. But the premise is simple. A spinning wheel opposes all changes of direction. Something like that. It also does that. And my personal favorite, that. I've always had one issue with this thing. It slows down. So I set out to figure out how to fix this. Hard drives. That was the answer. But this also led to the start of a hard drive collection, which I will show you regardless. I also have this one. It's my favorite. So that's about 7 years of collecting, even though I found what I was looking for 5 years ago. I've got an idea. Now revisions have been made, especially once I found out about lithium batteries. Damn. Hard drives are cool, but they can only take you so far in life. Coming in at 10,000 RPM, ladies and gentlemen, Mark II. It works better than the other one. And why is that? It's made from a different hard drive, which spins at 10,000 RPM. And it took me forever to find this hard drive because it's the only one that had a friggin' Molex connector. All the faster ones had like some parallel SCSI shit. I don't know how to tap into that. So okay, sorry. So we get it that it balances, it does opposes whatever falling off my finger. And what do we do with that? Well, it does that. I call it the display mode. But most importantly, it does this. And it does it very well. I think it's good progress, so we can move forward. Okay, so I more or less figured out how gyroscopes worked at this point, and I said, you know what? Bro, I gotta stop with this puberty talk, bro. Pubert sounding ass, man. Ladies and gentlemen, spinning in at... I don't know how fast this one spins, actually. Ladies and genitals, Mark III. A bit less complicated looking than the last one, and a bit louder than the last one also, and most certainly heavier than the last one, also much pointier than the last one, which is why for this demonstration that will be our finger for the day. Although similar in size, it does weigh more because I think metal looks cool. I know a lot of dudes out there can agree. Now, to make sure this thing works, we need to have control over either one of two variables: the weight of the flywheel or the speed at which it spins. Yeah. Now, obviously, the faster it spins, the better it works. And that's pretty much all I learned from making Mark III. So after I made this one, I had a few parts left over, specifically one more flywheel. I looked around the room and I asked myself, what can I fit this freaking flywheel into? Ladies and gentlemen, Marc Anthony. It's Marc Anthony, aka Apple Airport Extreme, and as you can see, he's very talented. He has ADHD also, he can't sit still. Why does it smell like that, man? I think it's burning. Dude! Mark! What the hell? It smells like a million mothballs are inside of this fucking thing. So what do we do now? I'll try to make this sound more serious. Even more. Gyroscope. Okay, we're back at the kitchen counter because this won't fit on that tiny ass table. It's in the briefcase. You know what that means? You know what this means? What about that? That means it's serious. Without further ado, Mark IV. Let's see it in action. Never gets old, man. Now, what I don't understand about this guy in particular is how, you know, he starts tipping over, normal, does his precession, then he gets to about here and stops tipping over, and he'll go like that until the batteries die. How is that possible? All the other gyroscopes will eventually fall over. This one doesn't. And how is it that it just decides at one point, what is that, 100 degrees, that it's gonna stabilize and stay just like that? I'm not complaining though, it's very cool, but how is that possible? It works so well, man. Anyway. You don't want to let it do that because it's gonna match its spinning speed, which is like thousands of RPMs, and then it'll turn into a helicopter. So now I'm gonna do something a bit more risky because I did design this little ball head to be able to accommodate many different positions, right? One of them is being able to balance on the tip of a tip, just like that. So you can show all the flexes. Sweet! Who would have thought that a spinning wheel is capable of all this? Now, if you're not asking about a Mark V, that's the question you should be asking. Mark V was 50% complete before the project was aborted. The main issue that Mark V was supposed to resolve is how loud this thing is. And it's loud primarily because of two things. One, the way that the flywheel is made looks sexy, but it's got these fins which catch a lot of air and make air noise. I don't know. So I covered all the holes with some tape and it made a difference, but it was still really loud. And I was like, what's the difference? Why is my hard drive one so quiet and why is this one so loud? I deduced it to being the motor itself. As pretty as it is, it's just loud. It's a loud motor. Now to find a quiet brushless motor proved to be, oh my god, man. But I found it. It's a replacement motor for a freaking printer, and this was the only motor that I could find which would relatively fit inside of a gyroscope, but obviously it doesn't. So I made another flywheel. I waited 3 months for this flywheel. The flywheel itself weighs more than that whole gyroscope. Now this flywheel also could not have any sort of an open design like the other one because that catches air and makes air noise. So instead I settled to just make a nice design that I thought would be easy for people to engrave. My ambition led to my demise. And this is the one of the most expensive things I own. This freaking flywheel. 3 different machine shops failed at making this until the 4th one finally said, okay, let me give it a go. Put it on some kind of 30-axis machine and finally got the decorative design I wanted. But it goes in there like that. Very nicely. And that right there, that's Mark V. You might be asking why I made all of this. I don't know. Thank you very much for watching, like, comment, hey. Thank you very much for watching, like, comment, subscribe, helps, and as always, you'll see me in the next video. Goodbye.